What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Three Pyramids Network with your host, the Ignorant Eclectic Mad Genius. And today we are talking about Key and Peele. I know the dynamic duo of comedy that we haven't seen in a while. Now, I guess some things that came out about what was going on between those two. And we back on our boy Old Meezy's channel. Shout out to Old Meezy. You know how I do. Link in the description will be link for this video, the original video will be in the description below. Um, yeah, man. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend. Let's do this.
I want you guys to close your eyes and think about some of the duos that made up your childhood. You know, Bert and Ernie, Patrick and SpongeBob, hell, even Ben and Jerry. Right up there with those names is Key and Peele. Key and Peele was one of the greatest shows in the world. Two ultra successful, ultra funny, and ultra creative black men took on sketch comedy by storm. And then one day, it just stopped. From that moment, Jordan Peele shot off into the stars with movies like Get Out and Us, and he is basically dominating the horror genre, seen as one of the best black directors that we have right now. Now, I don't want to underscore what Keegan-Michael Key is doing right now. He is successful in his own right, but for whatever reason, they're not together anymore.
So, this is a story about open secrets in Hollywood and people who don't warn you about things and finding out the hard way.
You see, Keegan-Michael Key should have been standing next to Jordan Peele as he was accepting all of these awards. Hell, they should have been collaborating on future endeavors together. But right now, Jordan is becoming an Oscar-winning filmmaker, and Keegan? Question mark around him. Why aren't we seeing him in the movies? Why do we not see him around his brother as he is growing?
Listen, bro. The last movie I seen him in was that Predator movie, the Alien versus Predator movie, and it was terrible. So bad.
Going into his own success and fame. Hell, based off of what Keegan-Michael Key told people, why don't they see each other anymore? Now, based off of one comedian's viral story, it seems as though we have insight, and it all links back to that old ball and chain. That's right, apparently Keegan-Michael Key's wife became the thing that split a rift between the two of these successful black men. And this is not the only time in which a wife was skewing how a man goes about making his success and being creative and seeking future endeavors in the creative sphere. Sometimes the person closest to you can affect your life. They affect your career, your relationships, and the way that the world explains your wasted potential. It's sad to say that the one that you say I do to will be the one to do you in. If you knew this and you haven't already, please hit that like subscribe button. It's gonna go a long way for the channel. Become a part of my family and don't hold me back from collaborations in the future. Now, back into the video. Akilah Hughes is her name and comedy is her game. She told the viral Lock and Banana story, which turned out to be the answer to the greatest mystery as to why we don't see Key and Peele going into the future and creating more content with one another. I think that people may be forgetting this was Comedy Central's most successful show since Dave Chappelle. These two black comedians that came up from Mad TV were seen anywhere and everywhere, and they were at the lunch tables, they were at the barbershops, they were in all types of conversations because they were just funny as hell. But when the show ended and we saw major blockbusters like Get Out and Us and Nope, we only saw one of the dynamic duo, and everybody and their mother was Googling and trying to figure out why and what happened. I've got the answer.
Yeah, it took me like 3 watches to understand what was going on with that movie. But Nope was
answer though. You may not like it.
And so one of those friends said, hey, I've got a great person to give you this opportunity. He is, and I don't think this is too shady, I think it's true, the less successful half of a comedy duo that was prolific in the 2010s. Perhaps, you know, I think their code names could be Lock and Banana.
Now I want to lay down some ground rules. Lock is Keegan-Michael Key and Banana is Jordan Peele. There, it's out there. She uses code names because I'm pretty sure she might find herself in some legal situations, but trust me, this woman has a very solid background. She's a writer and a comedian who was around Comedy Central and MTV during the time. She's familiar with both of them, have worked with both of them extensively, and she is giving her firsthand accounts as to why they broke up and where everything went wrong. Now, according to Akilah, she was developing a comedy show, and Locke, Keegan-Michael Key, was supposed to be a part of the pilot. And even greater than that, he was supposed to be something and a name that opened doors for her to have this be flooded out into the masses and, you know, have her show have an opportunity to see daylight.
Locke is gonna use his name to carry you to the forefront of pop culture. And so we came up with a pitch.
It's important to know this because what she's saying is that if Locke in this situation is supposed to be the door opener, then the person closest to him was the one that actually closed said door. This, my friend, is where we find out who basically destroyed our comedy duo for the next couple of years. The duo that was supposed to make a bunch of movies, the duo that was supposed to entertain us for years to come. This is where we find out that the person who was stopping all of these new endeavors between Locke and Banana was Locke's wife.
And so my agent at the time calls me and she goes, how is pitching going? How do people feel about Locke? And I'm like, oh my God, they love him. Everybody loves Locke. And she's like, that's great, that's great. How do they feel about his wife, who is now somehow the executive producer on my show? And I'm like, you know, I hadn't really thought about it. I don't think people like her very much. And she's like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And I'm like, okay, so like, are you saying like we're not gonna be able to sell this? Or she's like, people like you and they like Locke. It'll come together. And so I forgive this sort of moment. You know, that should have been the red flag. I was like, no, because it's more important to have a celebrity attached.
Now, I'm gonna give people a warning here. If somebody is eager to attach their name to a project that they have no real involvement in, and I think that that's where you should put a pause and where you should stop. And even if that doesn't make you stop, then people calling you and asking you, well, how do others feel about so-and-so being involved in whatever project you have going on? Or how do people feel about so-and-so just in general? Somebody that doesn't have any involvement explicitly, that should also be a very big flag for you. But I know that Akilah is riding high on this thing. She has somebody who is famous tied to her project. But as she walked around with these rose-tinted glasses about this situation, she didn't realize the power and influence that a wife can have on a situation. And she also didn't recognize how bad of a name this person already had. It got to the point where Banana, Peele, in this situation's wife, called her, warning her about Locke's wife.
So I answer the call, and it is from Banana's wife. And Banana's wife says, hey, I just had dinner with Locke and his wife. They say they're doing a show with you. And I said, yeah. And I, again, don't know how she got my phone number. So this seems urgent. And she says something that like chills go down my back. She says, I'm just calling you because I wish someone would have warned me.
This now has escalated from workplace tension to something much, much deeper and much, much darker. Now, again, these are all allegations, so please, Locke, you and your wife do not come after me for any of this. But what Akilah is basically saying that she is the last one to the party. You know, the party where everybody knows the end result. They've already seen the cake. They've already seen the gifts. Last one to the movie. They've already seen the conclusion, and you are just now getting there. She's saying that people know how impactful and effective that Locke's wife can be, and you need to run ASAP.
She does about an hour of a monologue at me about how, you know, she thinks that his wife is like Phil Hartman's wife, that she wouldn't trust her to hold a baby, that she once poured alcohol on her birthday cake and this person is sober. And she says there's no accounting for how much money she's cost that black man.
The point isn't that just Banana's wife doesn't like Locke's wife. The point is that she is dangerous. She's unstable, she's unpredictable, and she can cost a lot of dollars and cents. We don't know how much money that woman has cost that black man. That's a crazy statement. And especially if I was going into some
She looks like the type that feels that she is supposed to be the star and not him. That's what she looks like. Scary.
some sort of business relationship when it comes to
Super
dealing
scary.
with the most famous comedic duo in the world, or at least half of them, I would be very, very weary about having that person.
And she also does look like the end of like the type of person that will try to isolate him from his family and things of that nature, family and friends, and like have her being the only individual in his life, which is like that type that type of situation is super weird. I've dealt with that with some of my family members and their significant others and things of that nature, and it's just like, bro, we're looking out for you. This individual is not really looking out for you.
That is described as Phil Hartman and unstable and all these other things like that, I would want to stay away from them as much as possible. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned how somebody so close to you can do so much harm, even if they're not involved in the project. Well, in this situation, Locke's wife actually gets involved in said project and starts to muck it up and starts to disturb everything.
Why though?
First of all, she comes on and then yells at everybody because she said she got the wrong Zoom, but everybody else was on the Zoom. She's here to offer notes. Yeah, she has no no credits without this man. Her notes are comedy happens in threes. The letter K is funny. And finally, give the audience some candy.
It's not that she just had creative opinions on a project. I think anybody has the right to do so. Hell, if y'all tell me in the comment section what to do in my next video, I may or may not do it. I may change shirts, I may change lightings. That's all fun and games. It's the fact that she has this power over Locke in this situation. She's somebody who can and will make life a living nightmare if her orders, her thoughts, her opinions aren't brought to the forefront. And that's exactly what she does when people don't take her seriously.
Well, she didn't like that nobody laughed or thought her ideas were good, so she threatens to sue the network.
You see, now we've shifted into an entire different direction. Your partner is no longer somebody to bounce ideas off of. Your partner believes that she is one of the heads of the project. Hell, and one of the only voices that should even matter. And it's not that she even gets a little bit upset that maybe nobody's listening to her idea. It's the fact that she's willing to even tank said project by bringing up front a lawsuit in order to get her way. This is exactly why we haven't seen Locke and Banana, Key and Peele do any sorts of future endeavors. If your wife can turn some sort of disagreement that we have creatively into something that is totally like unnecessary, like a lawsuit, why would I want to work with you? You might be the best person in the world. You might be my creative soulmate. But if you are tethered to a headache, then I think that I wouldn't want to deal with you. But you're probably asking, okay, Omar, it can't be that serious. You know, maybe if they decide to figure.
I just had a thought. So is that was that the inspiration for Get Out? Oh, if you think about the premise of Get Out, that really might be the premise.
Figure things out, or you know, maybe if they come to some sort of agreement, then hey, they can move forward with this. But it doesn't just work like that. Apparently things got so bad with the company and Locke and his wife that the company decided they were just gonna pay them outright to no longer be a part of the project. They didn't want to deal with the headache anymore. They cut the losses. But the problem with that is that when they severed ties with Locke and his wife, they retained Akila's IP.
We're no longer in pre-production.
Oh, wow.
We're waiting around. The thing I quit my dream job for is on hold. And they get back to us after a month and they say, hey, we paid them off the project, but you have to write a whole new pilot. And I'm like, at this point, well, fuck, like these are all our best ideas. And also like, they're like, one day you can perform that for the internet, but like we own the TV rights to that.
The reason why this is such a big blow is because if anybody's ever kept up with media or entertainment or hell have worked on a project, getting close to that deadline is extremely hard. Hell, even getting people to listen to you have an idea or an inkling of one is extremely hard in Hollywood. Akila was almost at the finish line and it got yanked from underneath her. We're talking about time, effort, money, energy, creativity. All these things no longer remain on her side. This is where the bigger question gets involved. It's no longer why did Key not want to work with Jordan, but it's more so did people stop working with him because it comes with all of this. Think about if we didn't Get Out or Us or Nope because it was delayed at the cutting room floor because comedy comes in threes, because we got to give the audience a piece of candy or some other dumbass shit that has nothing to do with the creative process, but because you want to be seen. People don't want to have to deal with that. And this is exactly why Akila's final words on the matter went viral.
What can be said? Locke, he's still playing, you know, I don't know, a frog in a movie. He never gets to be himself in public, and his partner has won Oscars. And everyone knows that his wife has ruined his career. It is diminishing returns. He's doing insurance commercials where there are other celebrities in it who are playing themselves, and he is playing a guy with a guitar.
Akila claims that Locke's partner has won Oscars, that Locke never gets to be himself in public, and everybody, and I do mean everybody, knows this is why his career is dead. This is the story that the internet ran with. Now, according to TMZ and Keegan-Michael Key's team and his wife, his team being his wife, they vehemently deny the story. They say that it's outlandish, they say that it's fabricated, that none of it is true. But I'm gonna call cap. That one sentence that Akila said gave a simple answer to a complex mystery. Maybe you just had to be there, but before the story, Key's career looked mad confusing. I'm telling you, these people were at the top of their game, the height of their heights, and were only projected to go upward. Hell, Key and Peele's show from Comedy Central still pulls millions of views to this day on TikTok, just rehashing clips and rehashing clips. And Jordan Peele has made himself into a household name and now has the ability to attach his name to big name projects, which only few directors can do. And
Hey, bro, brother, little gangster right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hold on, where's it at? Ah, ah. Brother, little gangster right there. You know what I mean? I used to talk shit about him because I love the guy. He's hilarious. But this boy look cold. Look at that. Man, I might need me, you know what I mean?
And now has the ability to attach his name to
5'8".
big name projects, which only few directors can do, and have them be the lead, even greater than actors that are a part of the project. And so after the story, the internet gets their explanation. Maybe the relationship around him made the collaboration harder than it needed to be. It's not proven by any means, but once the internet runs with the narrative, it becomes completely believable. Every missed Peele movie becomes evidence. Every questionable or failed project becomes a clue. And it's not like we haven't seen this before. Every wife narrative or every partner narrative around a person's career when they start to go down this questionable twist and turn is a tale as old as time. You see, because once your partner starts to become the explanation for all these things, then your career is no longer judged on your work alone. Recently, Akash Singh from the Flagrant podcast, who we know from various videos that have been done on this platform, had been getting murked on the internet, stepped away from the Flagrant podcast.
As I'm sure you guys are aware, our boy Akash, he really went through it earlier this year, showed amazing resilience and, you know, selling out Radio City recently, setting records in Toronto, just crushing stand-up around the globe. But the experience has put things in perspective for him, and he has made the decision to focus all of his energy on stand-up. He is going to be stepping away from the pod.
Now, Akash could have stepped away for many reasons. 9 years on a job is something that is commendable for a lot of people, and it's a long time, so maybe you move on to the next thing. But the internet, and myself included, can't help but think your partner, who recently became a part of the public spectacle, the conversation for the day, has tainted your image, especially because you went on that podcast and tried to frame yourself as one of these do-good relationship people, and your partner came in and kind of undercut all that, and now you want to step away from the limelight. It all seems so coincidental, right?
Like, my thing is, with Akash, bro, he came on there all jokes, made jokes about Will, made jokes about Fresh and Fit, made jokes about everybody's relationship. You know what I mean? And he was saying that his relationship was the creme de la creme. You know what I mean? The top tier. His girl was this, his girl was that, his girl was an angel. And she over here talking about dudes eating her pussy, or my bad, eating her meow meow. Yeah. And all this like party stuff or whatever, dudes taking her from the back and everything else. And it's just like, bro, I'll be honest with you, because like I said before, I was a big fan of Akash. And how he handled it made me like, yo, what? What's going on, bro? I thought jokes was all jokes. Like, you took this super serious, and like, granted, you know what I mean? Just off of what he did in the beginning, like, well, when he was doing all this stuff in the earlier, whatever, before the whole wife allegations came up or whatever, I was like, oh yeah, rock with him. But and after that, it was just like, I don't know if I can really rock with you. It's just like Will Smith. Like, I don't really know if I can really rock with Will the way I used to rock with Will. It's just, she made him look bad, and the way that he reacted, it just took, I guess, the allure of the whole situation. It just took that away from me, I guess. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but that's how I can like kind of explain it.
The move could be more professional. The reason officially could even be true, but that does not mean that the pieces won't be put together for this puzzle. The conversation shifts from, are you still funny? Are you still creative? Is this person breaking out, or all these other things? It starts to become, well, how is your wife affecting the dynamic between you and your audience? Is the relationship making you look weaker? Do people want to deal with you not because you're hard, but because of the baggage that you come with, i.e. your partner? So when Akash leaves Flagrant, people don't view view it as some sort of isolation. They view it through the lens of the relationship story that has been told online, where his partner is hindering him and making him look weaker about his life. This is how the Akash story connects to the Jordan Peele and Michael Keegan story. They're not identical exactly, but because it shows how quickly your wife or your partner can be a part of your narrative. Once your partner becomes public baggage, then even your professional decisions can start to look more personal. Now, don't get me wrong, the point is not, oh, wives ruin careers. I think at that point it's lazy. The real point is the influence that a partner can have. When I was younger, my mom always told me that you are a reflection of me just as I am of you, and then also whoever you bring into the fold is the exact same. Who you have in your inner circle, more specifically your partner, affects everything about you and how people see you. It affects who you cut off, how you handle conflict, how collaborators experience you, whether potential collaborators want to build with you again, or a good partner can protect these potentials. All these things come into play when you bring somebody into your fold, especially as a public figure. A good partner should add to things. We've seen, whether it be with social media content or the movie theater industry, all these other places and spaces, dynamic duos, husband and husband, wife and wife, and anything in between. Hell, even brother and sister, father, daughter, father, son, all these different things. We've seen how those collaborations have birthed new and exciting ideas. But we've seen also in many situations where a partner can ruin everything for you, whether it be in allegedly the Keegan Michael Key and the Jordan Peele situation, whether it be in the Akash situation with his wife, hell, even in the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith situation. Who you choose to say I do to and death do us part to can be the death of you. Sometimes a bad partner can.
Yeah, man. Let me know what you think in the description down below, man. Or I said description. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts about Akash? What are your thoughts about Will Smith? What are your thoughts about Keegan Michael Key and their whole situation? It just sucks. It sucks. You know, the person that you love can become the death of you if you don't pay attention. Love each and every last one of y'all, man. Like I always say, the link for this original video will be in the description down below. I'll catch you on the next one. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Peace.